See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know.
Oprah Winfrey's name is reportedly being referenced in newly surfaced Jeffrey Epstein court filings, and many observers say her silence is becoming noticeable. For decades, her brand was viewed as nearly untouchable, an empire built on influence, philanthropy, and cultural authority. Any past whispers suggesting connections to powerful figures in Hollywood were often dismissed as speculation, tabloid noise, or attempts to stir controversy. Most people moved on without looking deeper. That perception began to shift when federal raids on Sean Diddy Combs' properties dominated national headlines. According to reports, investigators allegedly uncovered large quantities of materials that raised questions, along with financial records that some insiders claim resemble patterns seen in other high-profile cases. None of these claims have been proven in court, but the timing has sparked renewed scrutiny, and the entertainment industry appears increasingly uneasy. Behind closed doors, there are claims that the recent Netflix documentary release was not coincidental but strategically timed. Some sources allege that certain footage originated from someone within Combs' inner circle. Meanwhile, legal proceedings continue to unfold. 2 judges have denied bail, while defense attorneys argue the allegations are financially motivated. Still, leaked messages circulating online are intensifying public speculation. One detail repeatedly referenced across social media: Costco doesn't sell baby oil, has become symbolic of broader suspicions. At the same time, past accusations tied to Harvey Weinstein have resurfaced, with some accusers claiming that high-profile associations offered him protection. Comedian Cat Williams has also suggested he possesses what he calls receipts, hinting he may speak further when the moment is right. For now, much remains unproven. But the combination of court filings, raids, documentaries, and resurfaced allegations has created an atmosphere of tension, one where silence, timing, and association are being examined more closely than ever before.
I knew Tyler Ferry. I knew. He plays that Madeira part a little too goddamn well. He's uncomfortable as a man, but that mother is funny and very comfortable as a. Your shield has been unveiled. You can let that black woman go on about her business now. It's all out now. It's all out, allegedly.
This isn't being framed by many observers as simply the fall of one powerful figure. It raises broader questions about the environment that may have allowed certain behavior to continue in plain sight. The real pressure point, according to commentators, isn't just the individual at the center. It's the silence from those around him and the persistent rumors about recordings that may or may not exist. If true, those elements suggest a story that extends beyond a single arrest and into something far more systemic. When federal agents executed raids on Sean Diddy Combs' properties in Los Angeles and Miami last March, reports indicated their focus was not limited to allegations about private conduct. Investigators were said to be examining whether a wider network or pattern of activity existed, rather than isolated incidents. The operations came shortly after a grand jury indictment, and the timing struck some analysts as calculated rather than impulsive. According to public reporting, authorities allegedly recovered large quantities of personal items, including baby oil and eye drops that some sources claim may have been mixed with other substances, along with financial records stretching back years. None of these claims have been proven in court. Still, the suggestion of detailed documentation and long financial trails has fueled speculation that investigators are examining potential planning rather than spontaneous behavior. For many watching closely, the case has prompted difficult questions, not only about one individual, but about the broader circles of influence surrounding him. Who attended private gatherings? Who maintained professional ties? And if wrongdoing occurred, how did it remain unchallenged for so long? At this stage, much remains unverified and subject to legal proceedings. But the scale of the raids and the scope of the investigation have shifted the narrative. What began as allegations against a single high-profile name is now being viewed by some as a lens into the systems, relationships, and silence that can exist within powerful industries.
P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
While Combs remains in custody in New Jersey, public attention does appear to be widening beyond his individual case. Prosecutors have filed serious charges, including allegations related to trafficking and racketeering, and the official narrative presented in court is that long-standing behavior ultimately led to legal consequences. His attorneys, for their part, have denied wrongdoing and stated that he will fight the accusations. The case is ongoing. Still, outside the courtroom, debate continues. Online discussions frequently focus on reported details from the raids, particularly the quantity of items allegedly seized, with some questioning how those materials fit into the broader allegations. It's important to note that inventory descriptions circulating publicly are based on reporting and have not been fully tested through trial proceedings. Federal investigations often examine financial records, communications, and event documentation to determine whether conduct reflects isolated incidents or coordinated activity. That does not, in itself, establish guilt, but it does signal the scope investigators may be exploring. Reports have also referenced ledgers and payment records allegedly connected to private gatherings. If accurate, such documentation would suggest organization rather than spontaneity. However, the existence, meaning, and legal relevance of those materials remain matters for the courts. Speculation fills gaps when verified information is limited, particularly in high-profile cases where timelines stretch across months. Observers have pointed to the sequence of events, spring raids, subsequent indictments, and procedural developments, as notable. Adjustments to court dates or custodial timelines can occur for many administrative or legal reasons, though not all changes are immediately explained in public filings. In high-visibility cases, that lack of detail often fuels suspicion, even when routine procedural factors may be involved. Combs' legal team has publicly criticized media portrayals, including a Netflix documentary titled The Reckoning, arguing that it presents a one-sided narrative. Claims have circulated suggesting rivalries within the entertainment industry may have influenced media timing, though no verified evidence has established coordinated involvement by outside figures. Netflix has stated that its materials were obtained lawfully. One of the most discussed aspects involves how certain footage became public. Reports indicate that some material may have originated from individuals with access to Combs' professional or personal circles. If true, that would raise questions about internal leaks rather than external surveillance. Still, without sworn testimony or verified sourcing, those claims remain part of an unfolding story rather than established fact. At this stage, the legal process is still developing. The spotlight remains on Combs because he is the named defendant in active proceedings. Whether the investigation ultimately broadens or remains focused on the current charges will depend on evidence presented in court, not online speculation. For now, what exists is a mix of formal allegations, public reporting, and unanswered questions. And in that space, silence can sometimes appear more significant than it is.
Well, welcome back to NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. Well, this story is not straight at all. It's quite twisty, turny, and greasy. Tyler Perry, who's currently dating a black woman, wink, wink, was outed and sued for $260 million in a sexual assault lawsuit filed by a male actor from his show, The O.
Two separate judges denied Sean Combs bail, a decision that, while not unprecedented, typically indicates the court found concerns related to flight risk, public safety, or the weight of the charges significant enough to justify detention. Bail determinations are based on statutory factors and evidence presented during hearings, much of which is not always fully detailed in public summaries. That alone can create the perception that unseen information influenced the ruling. There have also been discussions online about adjustments to procedural timelines in his case. Court schedules, custody reviews, and administrative date changes can occur for a range of legal or logistical reasons. Without formal clarification in filings, those changes often invite speculation, but they are not uncommon in complex federal proceedings. At the same time, attention has shifted toward a separate civil lawsuit involving Tyler Perry. An actor has filed a $77 million claim alleging unwanted advances, attempts to offer money in exchange for silence, and retaliatory behavior after refusing. Perry's legal team has strongly denied the accusations, describing the lawsuit as meritless and financially motivated. As with any civil claim, the allegations remain unproven unless substantiated through the legal process. Some observers have noted that certain elements described in the complaint, including alleged private communications and claims of career leverage, resemble patterns seen in other high-profile misconduct cases in entertainment. However, similarities in allegation structure do not establish wrongdoing. They simply reflect the types of claims commonly raised in disputes involving power dynamics within the industry. Reports have also highlighted that the same attorney is representing multiple accusers in related matters. In high-profile civil litigation, it is not unusual for attorneys to handle more than one case involving prominent figures, particularly if they specialize in that area of law. Still, overlapping representation can intensify public perception that broader patterns may exist. Oprah Winfrey's name has periodically resurfaced in online discussions due to historical associations, including past professional support for Harvey Weinstein before his conviction, references in publicly released Epstein-related documents, and scrutiny surrounding abuse allegations at a leadership academy she founded in South Africa years ago. In the case of the school, arrests were made at the time, and Winfrey publicly addressed the matter, stating she was deeply disturbed and cooperated with investigations. Importantly, being named in documents or having professional associations does not in itself establish involvement in misconduct. None of these threads, individually or collectively, constitute proof of coordinated wrongdoing. But in moments when multiple legal cases intersect within the same industry, public scrutiny tends to intensify. High-profile arrests, civil lawsuits, resurfaced documents, and media projects create an environment where connections, even indirect ones, are examined closely as proceedings continue. What ultimately matters will be what can be demonstrated in court. Allegations, timelines, and associations may raise questions, but conclusions depend on verified evidence and due process. Until then, much of what circulates remains a mixture of confirmed filings, public statements, and speculation filling the spaces in between.
What kind of a toll would you say that this is all taken on you?
I was extremely anxious. The calls got to a point where the calls and texts were almost every day. Just this constant state of like, if I don't answer, I will lose my job.
Recent high-profile legal cases in the entertainment industry are drawing intense scrutiny. Sean Combs remains in custody after bail was denied, while Tyler Perry faces a $77 million lawsuit alleging misconduct. Perry's team denies the claims, and both cases are still ongoing. Historical associations with prominent figures, including Oprah Winfrey, have also resurfaced in public discussions. While some documents and past actions have drawn attention, none establish wrongdoing. Industry insiders report a wave of caution. Actors, musicians, and media professionals are reviewing contracts, consulting legal teams, and limiting public exposure. Project delays and sudden silence from well-known figures highlight widespread concern. These developments reveal broader dynamics in Hollywood, how influence, accountability, and reputation intersect. As investigations and lawsuits continue, the industry remains on edge, with many preparing for possible ripple effects.